anyway. There we go. Okay, there we go. Hey everybody, this is... Sorry.
Oh,
We're running a little
man.
slow, guys. Hello everyone, welcome to Talkin Geek. My name is Aaron, and I'm here with the ultimate Robert.
The ultimate. You keep going on the Spider-Man.
I
like it.
I love it too. So welcome to Talkin Geek again, guys. We are here to bring you all the geeky news and talk here. We have a lot going on today, guys. A lot has happened in the last, 48 hours even.
Oh man, it's been crazy.
And so we're going to bring you a lot of news. We're still going with our Hollow Geek kind of month. The last couple of days. Halloween is in 2 days. So with that being said, we have a lot to talk about. And the first thing we're going to do is let's give you a rundown first of what we're going to talk about. Today we actually have the Lizard Queen herself. She'll be on with us. We're going to do a little interview with her. We have some Star Wars news, some Game of Thrones news, some DC Marvel show news coming out, which is kind of cool. I know the show's kind of going away, but Supernatural news actually came up in the last couple of days too.
In the news.
And much, much more. So guys, what keeps you geeky? And on that note, let me go ahead and start straight off with our interview here with the Lizard Queen herself. Can you hear us?
I can. How's it going, guys?
How's it going? How are you doing today?
What's up?
I'm doing very well. How about y'all?
We are doing great, I guess. Or I'm doing great. I don't know about Robert here. He's kind of just nodding his head.
I'm good. Yeah.
So, I guess let's just go straight into it then. Let's see. First of all, I always wanted to ask you. I've known you we've known each other for years now. Why the Lizard Queen?
Oh.
I have to ask why, because
Okay.
I've known you, we've known each other 15 years, I think, or so, right? And
Something like that, yeah.
I don't get why Lizard Queen.
It's a very stupid yet funny story. It has to do with band and going into high school. When you first start doing high school band, you have to learn how to march and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And you know how the weather is down here. It's brutal, it's sunny as hell, and I had just gotten a shot that causes a photosensitivity that we didn't know about.
Okay.
So I'm out doing this marching practice in 100+ degree weather with the sun bearing down, and I turned black, like leathery skin black like a lizard.
Wow.
That
so the
sounds
next day I had to go in jeans and long sleeves and almost died from, heat exhaustion. So I just kind of changed clothes and everybody saw the way my skin looked and started making fun of me. So in true fashion for me, I screamed out, "I am the Lizard Queen. I can do anything."
Embrace it, right? People start making fun of you, you just embrace it.
Yes.
And all the band teachers knew the reference because I was quoting Jim Morrison more or less. So they were all like, "Okay, yeah, we get it, Araceli, shut up, hurry up and get back in line." Whereas the rest of the kids were like, "What the heck did she just say?" And that's where the name came from.
Nice.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious. I mean, I didn't even know that. So, for our listeners who don't know where we're at, we are in South Texas. We're actually in San Antonio. The Lizard Queen here, Araceli, she's actually further south than us, so it's almost never ever cold down there.
No.
There's
a reason I moved here, Aaron.
You're from up north, though.
I know. I moved here to get away from the cold. I like the heat.
So, random fact, he's not from here. He's from Chicago, right? Or Detroit, or what?
Yeah,
else?
we say Chicago. I lived an hour outside, but we got the Lizard Queen here, so we should probably talk to her.
That's true. So
it's all good.
I tend to go tangents. He keeps me in check.
Sometimes.
So tell us more about your channel. So it's called the Lizard Queen. What exactly do you do on your channel?
Well, lately what I've been doing is ASMR stuff, specifically like role plays. I try to keep in the theme of like horror or creepy because I originally started doing creepypasta videos or writing short horror stories myself.
Uh-huh.
So now I just do ASMR where I'm basically pretending to be like a vampire or a demon or I don't know how the heck to say this name, Yandere or something like that, or a serial killer. I'm basically just trying to scare the crap out of you while also relaxing you.
Okay. So as you're scaring me, I'm going to be screaming. Got it. That makes perfect sense.
It's weird, I get that, but there is actually a very big market for it on YouTube, and I love making the videos because it allows me to be really creative in how to scare you, so it works.
It's like a combination. It's like sweet and salty. You know, it's like that doesn't make sense, but it does.
But it makes sense.
Exactly.
I like it.
Okay. So, what exactly, for our listeners out here, because we don't do that, what is ASMR actually?
Okay, so ASMR, I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but basically it's a way to produce this feeling on your head and body that they call tingles. It's this weird sensation that just feels good, and all sorts of different things can trigger it, like sounds from just tapping or like people brushing their hair. Some people like hearing people eat or making sounds with their mouth. Some people enjoy the role plays and they get tingles off of that. So that's basically just what you're trying to do. You're trying to give a person that sort of response. The way that I kind of do an analogy for it is like, you ever get that feeling whenever you listen to music and you get goosebumps from it?
Right.
Okay.
It's very, very similar to what ASMR does for you.
Nice.
Interesting. Okay. So, I guess the other thing is, since you talk about all this scary stuff and you're gonna try to scare me every night, what about you? Do you believe in paranormal stuff?
I do, actually, very, very much, because of a lot of different things that have happened to me.
Oh, well, kind of going with that, what kind of experience have you had?
I can talk about the most recent one that I have, where we're currently living at.
Okay.
We've been here now for about 2 years, and for like the first year and a half, nothing ever happened. And then one day, I started picking up EVPs like on my camera and stuff out of nowhere. We had them knocking just randomly in the bathroom, and literally all night long. As soon as I would try to fall asleep, they would start knocking. As soon as my eyes opened up, they would stop knocking. And it wasn't like coming in from one side, the other side of the wall. It was coming in from our side.
Okay.
We had a butane canister that's supposed to be for like a camping stove get knocked and thrown out of our closet and into the rest of the bedroom. And there's no way in heck that it would be able to do that. It would have to boomerang towards us. And the funniest thing about it is that it stole teriyaki chicken once.
It's still what? I'm sorry?
Teriyaki chicken.
Oh, okay.
I know, it's very weird. Why
That's
would a
crazy.
ghost steal teriyaki chicken? But it did. We have never found that teriyaki chicken. We would know if it just went suddenly missing somewhere in the apartment, because for obvious reasons. But no, it literally just poofed out of existence. It got hit by Thanos.
Wow. Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Interesting. I will go with interesting. So, for anyone who just happens to be joining in again, we're here talking with the Lizard Queen Audicella herself. One other question too. So you do these ASMR videos. Is there certain ones that you like to do? Is there one that was like your favorite one to do so far, or are you still kind of dabbling around, seeing what you like on it?
I do like all of them, don't get me wrong, but I think the ones that I've been enjoying the most so far is my psychiatric patient ones. I've only done 2 videos on them, but it allows me to be even crazier than usual. So I get to really expand on my acting range and trying to see the worst things that can come up in my mind to be able to come out on the mic. And some people really, really like it, and then some people are like, "You're way too good at this. Are you sure you're not actually psychotic?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
So you're scaring people, really? Got it.
Yeah, but it's fun to be like, woo-hoo, thank you very much for telling me that I'm scaring you, because that's exactly what I'm going for.
For sure. I mean, that's
awesome.
Wow. I can't imagine that. I mean, and what, I guess, one more question before, we kind of let you go. And I know it's not one I kind of sent over to you, but what made you want to get into YouTube out of all platforms? And what's keeping you around on YouTube? Why not go to somewhere else?
That's actually a very good question that I hadn't really thought of. I don't know, to be honest with you. I think it was I got bored one day at home because, I don't really do anything outside of doing YouTube. And I said, I'm going to upload a video, and then I kind of like doing this. I'm going to upload another video, and then it just kind of kept going from there. And before I knew it, I was like, I'm a YouTuber now.
Nice.
Okay.
That's really awesome.
And you're at how many
Yeah.
subscribers right now? Like 1,800 almost or so?
I am at 1891, I think, unless there's been a couple more since then, because I just uploaded a little while ago, so I might already be at 1900, I'm not sure.
Nice. And so, just so we can let everybody know, is it youtube.com/lizardqueen, or what's the actual URL for you?
I do believe it's either geekest7095 or the Lizard Queen ASMR.
Let me see. The Lizard Queen ASMR, you said?
Yeah, the Lizard Queen.
I can't type either, so I was going to try to help you out. And,
Come on.
ASMR. Because I want to make sure we post the right link for everybody. And of course, guys, if you also just type in, Lizard Queen, so youtube.com/the Lizard Queen ASMR, it'll take you straight to her page. You'll be able to check out all her videos there. And one last fun question: what's your favorite horror movie?
Oh, my favorite horror movie is definitely Event Horizon.
And I have never seen that one.
I also have never seen Event Horizon. I think we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really? Oh.
I mean, I'm not the horror movie guy. Like that's not my genre. So, like, you throw horror movies at me, I'm like Shaun of the Dead. You know, like, I mean,
It's awesome. So.
I love Shaun of the Dead, but yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Event Horizon.
And now I'm going to too, and then I'm gonna think of her videos as they scare me at night. So, well, again, thank you.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna warn you. It is a little graphic.
Excellent.
I think you've known me long enough. Man. Come on.
That is true.
Come on. So again, but thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate you being here. And again, thank you for helping us with our little Hollow Geek month. Again, this is where we talk about like all Halloween stuff. You've been doing everything scary from train track videos and all that to now talking to the Lizard Queen herself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you guys for having me on here.
Thank you again.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
have a good night and enjoy.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Well, that was awesome.
That was really amazing. So I've known her for about 15 years now.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see her channel going off. And again, guys, if you haven't yet, please go to youtube.com/the Lizard Queen ASMR. It'll take you straight to her page, and you can see what she was telling you about, all the different types of videos, all the horror stuff. So on that note, I think Robert has some news he wants to talk about, possibly.
I mean, there's been just so much news
There has.
that's been dropping. Obviously, Star Wars has been in the news. There's 3 different Star Wars stories to talk about. So I think the important one to start with is The Mandalorian.
Oh, heck.
Dropped a new trailer.
Yes, sir.
So if you have not seen it, you
What's
should
wrong?
watch it. Unless you're one of those people who're like, I don't want to watch any trailers, I just want to go in and watch the show. That's cool. We are going to talk just very briefly. There's not really any spoilers, I don't think, in the trailer. But the thing that stood out to me, which I love the trailer. It's basically it's narrated by Werner Herzog, who is a character in The Mandalorian. And he's, director, actor. He's been around forever. He's got a very distinct voice. Just sounds super cool. So that was this looks cool. The imagery looks really cool. Yeah. Obviously, you see the Mandalorian played by Pedro Pascal. We get Bill Burr in this trailer. He shows up, shooting people. I know we see a shot of Giancarlo Esposito, who of course came to fame in Breaking Bad. So he pops in there. He's, I think, playing an Imperial, former Imperial officer, because this takes place 5 years after the fall of the Empire. So I don't know. It looked pretty awesome. I don't know. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I watched it, and my main question is, what the heck does Stormtrooper armor do? Because he shot one right in the face, and they're just dead again.
Oh, Stormtrooper armor does nothing.
Oh.
It's never done anything. Have you ever watched any of it?
I have plastic armor on. What's it gonna do? I don't know.
Nothing.
I mean,
it's there to look cool. I think my favorite part of this trailer is a stormtrooper finally is able to actually aim and hits him, but it's Mandalorian armor, so it just deflects off. It's like the stormtrooper's like, I finally hit something. It doesn't matter.
No, death as he dies.
Oh, poor stormtrooper.
Honestly, I've said this before on another show, the other episode I think we did last week. I'm all about the choreography with fight scenes. I love it. I can eat that stuff up.
Yeah, man.
And I really enjoyed the fight scenes in this because it's not, to me, when the Jedi fight a few stormtroopers, the Jedi are always going to win. They can overpower those like 5 troopers. But now you got one guy who is still technically human.
He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah. And now
he's Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian.
Jeez.
He or she, if there's ever a she one, they have to struggle. Like, they're not gonna be able to just like kill him so easily. I mean, yeah, the trailer shows off a lot of their skills,
right?
But eventually the numbers can't outweigh them. I'm assuming. I don't think one bounty hunter could hold off a bunch of stormtroopers.
Well, I mean, I don't think the stormtroopers are going to play a huge role in this. Like, it is 5 years after the fall of the Empire, so I think we're going to see. Obviously he's a bounty hunter, so he's operating outside the law. Is there any law? I mean, the Empire or the galaxy is in chaos, right? The Empire just fell. It's only been 5 years. The New Republic is, still trying to be formed and stuff like that. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of happens and, if we get actually, any political intrigue, or is this going to be straight up an action show?
I hope it's going to be action.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
And, so the first episode's dropping on Tuesday, November 12th. That's when Disney Plus launches. That date, first episode drops. And then it is going to be a weekly show, so it's not going to drop all at once like, a lot of Netflix shows do. This is going to be every week. But the second episode, actually, you get, like, that Friday. So it's, like, back-to-back almost, a few days apart, and then it's going to be every Friday from there on out. I think they said it was going to be 8 total episodes in the first season. They haven't announced whether or not they'll do more seasons, but I'm sure if it's super successful, they probably will.
I mean, exactly. Once it hits a certain level of success, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep making seasons after seasons of this.
I mean, if people like it,
I think they will. I think, and this is from a guy who I don't care for Star Wars as much because I'm tired of the Skywalker storyline. We already know this. I'm liking that we're getting something different.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Han Solo, the movie. I wasn't so much a fan of the Rogue One, but I enjoyed it because it wasn't Skywalker's.
How dare you? Rogue One was great.
We all knew the ending. When you watch it, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we know the ending of every Marvel movie, too. The heroes win.
Hey.
And every Star Wars movie.
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so I'm curious where it's going to go.
Yeah, for sure. So sticking with Disney Plus, though, there is some more news, obvious maybe, about Kenobi, an interview that was given by Ewan McGregor. Yes, he is our only hope. So Ewan McGregor came out and talked about Kenobi and gave some information about, it was originally they had talked about it being a movie. Yeah. But they have converted it. It is, he was open about that, saying, we originally drafted it as a movie. Now it's going to be a series. They kind of set it at 6 episodes. Shocking no one. They said it's going to take place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Of course it is. We don't really have a ton more details around that, but definitely nice to hear Ewan McGregor actually talking about the show. He sounds very excited about playing that character once again. I'm excited for it too. So, anything to add on Kenobi?
I'm excited for more people to fall that thinking he's Jesus Christ.
I mean,
that's all I'm excited for.
He's the American version of Jesus Christ.
He is. That's all I can think of whenever I think of him is the one older woman in the video, that one that went viral. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. But I loved him when I watched it in the prequels. I thought the prequels were really good, honestly.
Sure.
I liked him. I'm not gonna lie, I liked him. The second and third one, not the first one.
I mean, the second movie's crap. Everyone knows it. It's the worst movie in the franchise.
I just enjoyed it.
But the movies are not great.
No.
But I think pretty much whether you like the prequels or not, pretty much everybody liked Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I think Star Wars fans are behind this series. We want to see it. What was he doing on Tatooine? He's supposedly, he's watching over Luke, but there's 6 hours of content of what he's doing. So is he fighting some people? Is he, obviously I don't think he's just going to be sitting in his hut for 6 hours. So
he's going to be sitting there sipping tea 6 hours straight.
Right. He's just going to be looking, through a telescope at the
Son.
He's gonna be looking over at
Terrible.
Owen and Baru and saying, you know, okay, yep, Luke's now. Oh, he's becoming 4 now. You know?
That's all it is. Like that's the whole series. Is just him spying like a creeper. It's like
All right,
whoa.
creepy old man.
Right.
So
Should I give him his lightsaber today? No, I don't think so.
Not yet. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow.
Which side note, I love. So obviously in the first Star Wars movie that ever came out,
yeah.
you know, he gives Luke the lightsaber that was his father's and says, you know, your father wanted you to have this. And so when they were filming Revenge of the Sith, and there's that major battle between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, they had filmed it, and somebody was like, hey, George, remember how he's supposed to have the lightsaber to give to Luke? And so they had to go back in and film that scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi like goes over and picks up the lightsaber, and because they totally forgot a moment where you're like, yeah, George Lucas is like not really paying attention. He's like whatever.
Don't care. Don't care.
Just chopped off his legs.
Yeah.
He'll be alright.
Exactly. And that is Obi-Wan Kenobi's move. If you guys hear Frank talking about chopping legs off, he's always chopping off arms or chopping off legs. That's, you know, like
The cantina.
that's Obi-Wan Kenobi's move.
Yeah.
In the cantina, he does it in
Who'd show up in the canteen? Oh,
in the very
guys
first
that
one. Yeah,
mess with them, yeah.
The one that's wanted in
Exactly.
12.
12 star systems. Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then, you know, obviously he does it to, he cuts Grievous's hands off. He, you know, I think there's somebody else that he does it to too. It's like he's always like chopping off limbs.
Refresher.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I'm excited for it. Again, I'm excited that it's not going to be all about the Skywalkers, which is where I've been upset with for the last, you know, however many years it's been now. And real quick side note, sorry for anyone who we lost feed for a quick second and we're coming back on. We're having issues with the internet, it looks like. So I apologize if you lost us and you came back, but thank you for coming back, first of all. But yeah, so sorry, I just wanted to throw a side note in there.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward though. There was more news about
more Star Wars news.
Like,
Star Wars takes over the world.
This whole episode's Star Wars at this point now.
It feels
the
like
rest of it.
No, so yeah, the final thing that's come out is the showrunners from Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, had originally agreed to do a Star Wars trilogy. They hadn't really announced anything about it, but they said they were going to do a Star Wars trilogy. Mm-hmm. And it was announced a couple weeks ago that they had actually entered into an agreement with Netflix, and they were going to be doing like a bunch of stuff with Netflix. And now today it's come out that they're no longer going to be doing the Star Wars trilogy of movies. So I think that there were some people that were maybe dissatisfied with the ending of Game of Thrones, so people aren't necessarily super upset that these guys have dropped off. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously Game of Thrones was one of the most popular and well-received shows of all time, especially for the first about 6-7 seasons. The last season, people were very split on, but we'll see what happens, you know, from here. But no longer a Star Wars trilogy from those two. We are still supposedly getting a Star Wars trilogy from Rian Johnson, who was the guy that directed the last Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. There haven't been any details about that either. So, you know, as of right now, the only movie that's been announced from Star Wars is Episode 9, dropping in just a couple months. So we'll see what happens from there.
It's going to be really interesting to see what they... I want to know what... I also want to know why they dropped out 100%. Like, why... What caused it, I wonder.
I mean, I think that they're just... they probably pitched some ideas to Lucasfilm back. I mean, that was announced that they were coming on board, I think, while the final season of Game of Thrones was going on. Yeah. And so I'm sure they pitched the story to Star Wars, but there's been, you know, I think Star Wars has been dealing with a lot of backlash, and really, Star Wars actually has kind of a reputation of their directors, you know, they haven't always had great working relationships. The original directors for Solo, Lord and Miller, actually like almost shot the entire movie and then were replaced by Ron Howard.
Oh wow!
Who shot like a completely different movie, and that's the movie we got. And so, you know, there were reports that I mean, originally the guy that did Jurassic World, Colin Trevorrow, was supposed to do episode 9, and then he dropped out. Josh Trank, who did that terrible Fantastic Four movie.
Which one?
The most recent terrible
okay.
Fantastic Four movie. Yes, there are 3 terrible ones. You're right. He was originally supposed to do a Star Wars movie, and then kind of there was a lot of stories about him having like really bad behavior on the set of Fantastic Four, and so then they nixed that relationship. So like Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and their history with directors has not been great over the past like 6-7 years. So I'm not necessarily surprised to see
see this happen.
Yeah, to see Weiss and Benioff, kind of decide to go with Netflix. And obviously that kind of was, I'm sure, kind of the final thing is, Star Wars has said we're kind of putting our stuff on hold. We don't know when our next set of movies is. So I'm sure Netflix came to these guys and they were like, this is what we want to do here, here, and here. Here's your timeline. Here's your money. Go. So they entered into that agreement, and I'm sure, they just kind of came to Star Wars and said, hey, we're going to do this thing, so this is when our availability is, and it just didn't match up.
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens and with movies like that, so I mean, that makes perfect sense. Maybe there's like a little curse around there, who knows? I like that stuff.
I don't know if there's a curse.
Never know. Some more Game of Thrones news, though. The prequel that was never going to happen now.
That's another thing that obviously Game of Thrones recently ended.
Yes.
And it had been a very popular show for many, many years.
Never heard of it.
And certainly, I think HBO is going, hey, you got any more Game of Thrones stuff? And so there's been rumors that there's like 3 or 4 different ideas that have been pitched as either spin-offs or prequels to Game of Thrones. And so they actually shot a pilot for one with, I believe, Naomi Watts in the pilot. And if you're unfamiliar with what a pilot is, it's basically like a test episode. Yeah. It's like they'll shoot episode 1 and then show it to people and they can decide to buy it.
It's your pitch idea. Hopefully someone picks it up kind of thing.
Yeah. And so they made an episode of a prequel series of Game of Thrones and HBO decided to pass on it. So we don't really have a lot more information than that other than that show will not be coming to HBO. I don't know what kind of licensing agreement HBO has with Game of Thrones. A lot of times with pilots, where they're not necessarily owned by a particular, TV station or property, they'll take that pilot somewhere else and see if maybe, somebody else is interested in running it. But I don't know if they'll be able to take it anywhere else. Yeah. If they'll be able to take it to a Netflix or somewhere else, Amazon Prime or something, or if it'll just be dead on arrival, and maybe we'll get a different Game of Thrones spinoff.
Exactly, and it's gonna be interesting because, like you said, going with the rights thing, Game of Thrones has always been a very bloody, very adult-oriented show kind of thing. So it's gonna be hard to pitch to any normal network on cable television because they have more restrictions. They can't show as much blood and all that. So it makes you wonder if they could even pitch it if they wanted to. Because I doubt HBO will let them go to Showtime, Cinemax, or like you said, Hulu, Netflix, Sling TV, YouTube TV, all those other ones. They may want to keep them out.
It's hard to go backwards because I think they tried it with Spartacus.
Yeah.
Also,
Spartacus.
They did the first one and then they tried to go
a prequel. Yeah.
back.
Oh, and I mean, Jaybird Video in our chat just called out. So they actually just in the last 15 minutes, I'm seeing an article from Variety that we will have a prequel series called House of the Dragon.
Oh, wow.
Coming set 300 years before, and it'll be the story of House Targaryen. So it's more dragons, more Westeros is coming to HBO. So
and
there
so
you go.
much more news in literally 15 minutes, guys. Like, it's ridiculous. We there's always something going on, so always keep tabs on our Facebook page as well at Get Your Geek On. As well as you can go to our Geeks of the Web page, keep up with us, any news that we can help post out there, of course, and if you can't catch our show.
Yeah, and the one with Naomi Watts, this article says, was supposed to be thousands of years before Game of Thrones, so that one nixed. This one going to be 300 years, so that's kind of the storyline of the Targaryens coming over from Valyria to conquer Westeros. It seems like that is the story that we are going to get.
Yeah.
So, very interesting.
It's going to be an interesting one. There's, like you said, there's already 4 ideas out there. So one's been nixed. Now we got another one coming up. So who knows what else we'll see. And like Frank said in the background, hopefully with the way they're going to do these prequels, we don't get that same Spartacus kind of issue where it ends up ruining the series. You know, that's what Spartacus, that prequel didn't mess it up for me. I won't lie. So it'll be interesting where it goes.
Yeah, I'm actually, I want to jump on this question that we got here too from Jen Lee. She asked, how long do you think Netflix is even going to be around? So Disney Plus is launching, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if Netflix is going to stick around. I think Netflix is still a strong model. So I don't think that they're going to go away anytime soon, but it'll be really interesting with Disney Plus launching. You know, they're going to lose a lot of content, but Netflix has a strong, you know, kind of original content.
They are going to, more than likely what's going to happen to them, because I have to also be careful on what I say. They have a lot of original.
He might work
content.
for a competitor.
Yeah, they have a lot of original content. Well, I also know certain things I shouldn't, but they have a lot of original content. That's the huge plus. And to be all honest with that, Jen, they've lost all the Disney and Marvel content already. That's all been pulled already. And they're still doing really well. They're still trying to make original shows. They're still trying to get older shows.
Well, we actually don't know how well they're doing because they never release viewership numbers.
That is true too. They don't ever release the numbers, but they're still buying shows.
That's true. Yeah.
They pitched because who owns Friends right now? They own Friends, I believe. And their last pitch to try to keep it before it's leaving, was around $400 million, I believe. So obviously they have money somewhere.
Yeah.
So unfortunately they did lose. I believe it's them who lost Friends. It's going to, I believe, either HBO or Showtime. One of those other ones ended up paying about $500 million for it. So I think they're doing well enough. If you can offer $400 million and be okay with that, I think you'll be fine. I think they're going to have to heavily rely on all the other studios though, and start building up those partnerships. Sony, Warner Brothers, Universal, all the ones that are not controlled by Disney, Marvel, obviously. And maybe even go to an older library because a lot of that nostalgia is coming out now. So maybe get some of the older movies.
And you got to remember, too, Disney just acquired Fox. So all of that Fox content is not going to be available on Netflix either. So, you know, I mean, I think we are going to see some streaming services go the way of the dodo, including just announced PlayStation View.
PlayStation View
is going away in January. I don't know that one was ever that big to begin with. But, you know, streaming services, obviously Disney is launching their own. You've got, you know, your Hulu, you've got your Netflix, Amazon Prime. So it'll be interesting to see if we get anything more.
Yeah, and like you said, this is what's going to start weeding people out, I think. And this is what you should have seen coming a long time ago. If you were into streaming services back in the day when stuff was coming around, Hulu, Netflix, everyone's trying to get ahead of the curve now. And this is what happens sometimes. Yeah. And so we'll see what happens in Netflix. I think they'll be fine, though. Yeah. I think being one of the originals and one of the oldest ones out there, they got their foot, in a nice little solid ground, I think.
Yeah, we'll be good.
So another thing, too, now with, the Game of Thrones news done in the last 15 minutes. Yeah, right. Another 10 minutes, it's going to come back up again.
Yeah, that's right.
The DC movie Wonder Woman 1984 got some more news coming out.
Yeah, they confirmed that Maxwell Lord will be appearing as probably the antagonist, the villain in the show. Yeah. And most likely played by Pedro Pascal. I don't think that's been officially confirmed, but he was in Game of Thrones, of course.
Yes, he was.
He is the bounty hunter, the title character of The Mandalorian. So he certainly seems to be doing pretty well for himself. Appears that he's confirmed for the movie. Maxwell Lord is confirmed for the movie. So everybody's connecting the dots and saying he is playing Maxwell Lord. It certainly seems that way. Yeah. And so I don't know much about the character. Who's kind of been on the fence on both sides. Sometimes he seems to be on the side of the heroes. Sometimes he seems to be an antagonist. So it'll be interesting to see what they portray in the movie.
I mean, to me, he's very much like, what's his name? Norman Osborn, I would say, at that point, because he goes wherever he feels.
But not Green Goblin?
Not the Goblin side of it all.
Yeah.
I thought Kristen Wiig was going to play the Cheetah.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig is also I think she's the main villain, which is why I think that Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord is kind of gonna play both sides. Okay. Like I think he'll at some points he'll be more
wishy-washy.
Yeah, some points he'll be on Wonder Woman's side, and some points he'll be on the other side. So I guess we'll we'll see what that looks like. It looks like we're continuing to have tech issues, guys. And
Sorry if
trying to
I'm
resolve
like,
it.
I'm not looking at the camera, guys, right now. For all of you watching this live, I'm going to end up posting this recorded.
Trying to watch it live.
I am sorry. The internet keeps going down like every couple moments. So
well,
it gets down again. So I apologize for that.
Yep.
So podcast listeners, you don't have to worry about this. You guys were smart and watched us the next day. And so of course let's just keep going. Let's just not worry about that part. But
let's talk about DC. Let's
DC,
keep talking about DC.
DC. So Superman and Lois, another Superman and Lois show coming out with the star from the original Supergirl TV show. He's coming back, Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah.
I want to say Hotch because it's an H. Tyler Hoechlin's coming back to reprise his role as Superman from the Supergirl TV show, as well as Elizabeth Tulloch.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, is going to be Lois Lane, and so it is coming out on the CW.
Yeah. And they've played those characters before on both
Yes.
Supergirl and the Flash.
I forgot Superman was on the Flash.
But they did say that this is maybe not going to be part of that network of shows where it's going to be in obviously the CW and it's starring those characters, but it's maybe not going to kind of be interwoven with those other shows. So I don't know. There's not a whole lot of details out there about it. It looks interesting, but it's supposed to be an hour-long drama that is going to come with those two. So Superman and Lois.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm glad that they're going to kind of reboot the shows. Not the show, I guess, because there was the original. Was it the original Adventures of Superman? I think back with Dean Cain, wasn't it?
The original Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark.
Come on, bro.
Dude,
Dean Cain and Terry
long?
Hatcher. That's my childhood.
I mean, yeah, it was our childhoods, man. Like, damn, that's old. But I mean, I'm
awesome,
glad
though.
to see that they're doing it again. That they're going to bring out Superman. They're going to bring out Lois and actually give them their own show. Because I like him in Supergirl. It's nice to see it, but unfortunately, he's not the star. This is Supergirl, and that's who we were there to see. So it's nice to see him, come back around and see what he's doing in this universe. And unfortunately, like you said, if it's not connected, it'll be interesting how they play that off. But other CW news with a show that I really didn't think I'd ever talk about this one because it's coming to an end, but Supernatural actually had some news. Jared Palit, I'm not going to try it. I'm done.
Padalecki?
I'll let him say it.
That's it.
Was arrested in Austin for allegedly assaulting 2 employees at the bar he has.
Yeah, he owns a bar in Austin and allegedly was intoxicated and assaulted a couple of his employees. I think the manager and maybe one other person. He was arrested. That was a couple days ago. He's not in jail anymore or anything. But it'll be interesting to see if any charges come out of this or what that looks like. I have never watched the show either, so we'll see.
Yeah, I can't say I know much on it. I know I don't know much on it again in general. I know that he plays the supernatural hunter, I guess you'd say, because they go after everybody. They talk with the devil. They demons. They fight all that stuff. Yep. So maybe he's just tired. Maybe a demon possessed him. No one knows. Maybe after playing that for so long. But in the affidavit that was published, it does say that the employees escorted him out of the bar after he fought with people inside. The affidavit says employees then tried to keep Jared out because of his intoxicated behavior. So multiple people say he was intoxicated.
Yeah.
So there's no way he's probably going to get around that. And no telling if he really did, take swings at anybody, hit anybody.
Yeah, and we'll see if, like I said, if any charges come out of it, they may, somebody may press charges, or maybe he'll, quietly pay somebody under the table, and nobody will press charges because he did that. Who knows? I don't want to.
I'm gonna go with paying under the table.
Yeah, I mean it's it's his bar, so that probably will give him a little bit of leeway on that, and I guess we'll kind of see.
Hopefully, there. I mean, no. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully the people, if he did hit anybody or hurt anybody, hopefully they're okay. We also don't know what's going through the guy's mind right now with the show being canceled. I mean, he's been doing this for, I believe, 13 years now. I think the show's
it's been on forever.
So telling me you just kind of lost your job and by the end of the year. But I mean, you made money at least. But don't tell me what's going on with him. We don't know. But he is Texas. I believe they all are out of Austin, right?
Married Fake Ruby.
Fake Ruby.
There's a character on on the show.
Oh.
It's a demon, and he ends up marrying her in real life.
Oh,
So there's an
there you go.
episode where they're playing each other, and they come back and they're on the show as the actors, and they're like, "Oh my God, you married fake Ruby?" So it says that he married his.
I guess so.
Interesting.
There you go.
I mean,
You have to watch
love
it.
comes in all shapes and forms,
It's
including
funny.
other demons.
It's
See,
funny.
he married a demon, so he's possessed by it now.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, or he's
So-
just a human who had a little bit too much to drink and, made a couple of bad decisions. And I guess we'll see what goes from here.
That's funny.
Not a whole lot of more news, but, felt newsworthy to talk about that.
Yeah,
So.
it really was. Last thing I want to kind of talk about as we're ending, we're going to kind of close this a little bit early, guys, since, again, we are having a lot of internet issues. So sorry for anyone who was watching live again. I'll have the video posted up within a few moments. And the podcast listeners, again, thank you for listening to us while I say this as well.
Woo!
But Celebrity Fan Fest was this past weekend. We
Well,
had a lot of
it was a Celebrity Fan Fest preview.
I'm sorry, you're
The
right.
preview con here in San Antonio.
Preview to the con for next year.
Right, yeah. Which I have no idea what that means.
It
Are
means
are all the celebrities that were there this weekend also going to be here for the for Celebrity Fan Fest? Like, why I don't even understand.
I didn't get that either. Yeah, I cannot confirm or deny, but I may have heard a rumor that like Kevin Sorbo was here this past weekend. So people had like Kevin Sorbo, Zachary Levi, Brendan Fraser, Helen Slater, right? What was her name? Or
Supergirl?
yeah, Supergirl, the original Supergirl.
Yeah,
She was there. Who else was there?
it was
The original Flash from the Flash Gordon movie. Sam J. Jones, right? Or,
Sam Jones was there.
yeah, right. He was the original Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
right?
he was. I didn't know
Yeah.
he was there.
Yeah, he
I
was
just watched
there.
that movie. It's not very good.
That's true. It's really not. We started talking about it
Mostly
last week.
because he's not very good.
Yeah, he was alright. Anyway, so there was a couple celebrities there. Now Kevin Sorbo, I can't confirm or deny, may come back for Celebrity Fan Fest next year. Rumor he probably will, but it is a rumor. But I had heard while I was there, so I don't know if all these celebrities are coming next year, or if this was a whole other set of celebrities just to show off who they could bring in, what kind of talent they'll have.
Yeah, I know somebody asked that question to Brendan Fraser at his panel, and he was kind of non-committal. He didn't say whether or not he was coming back or not. So.
Yeah, a lot of them, it didn't seem like they would say. And I'm sure there's probably some contract out there that they can't talk about it just yet, because I know when these cons start trying to get celebrities, they don't talk about it because they want to announce it as a surprise guest or something like that. So that's probably why they're under contract or something, if they can't say anything. So I was there Saturday with the other Robert on some of our other videos you may have seen already.
He's not as good as this, Robert.
No, because this is the ultimate one. We already said. I'm just playing. I love you, Robert. But me and him and actually our other correspondent, Minion, was out there with us. And we got there. We toured the convention. It was a lot smaller than the Celebrity Fan Fest convention itself last year.
Yeah, I mean, this
So-
is just like the preview
Exactly.
con. So it was only 2 days. It wasn't
It wasn't all
like
3
most
days.
cons are Friday through Sunday. This one was
Yeah.
just Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, I mean, not nearly the same amount of booths or artists
No.
or attractions, celebrities. It was a way scaled down version of the con.
Very, very small. At least, I will say maybe a quarter of the size of what the convention was last year. So if you ever went to Celebrity Fan Fest last year, you got about an idea of how big it was.
Yeah.
We got there, and the good thing though, since it was a preview con, I guess you could say, the good thing was there was no real lines anywhere. Even for some of the autographs, there was a few lines, but they didn't seem to last very long. They would be up for about 10-15 minutes, and then they'd be gone. Me and Robert walked around the whole thing in less than an hour. I mean, we pretty much saw everything in less than an hour. And actually, the other Robert won a free tablet while he was there.
Yeah, from T-Mobile.
T-Mobile, yeah. I won a shirt from the CW people.
And he's not wearing it now.
There's a reason for that. So we went by, we saw the lines for like Brendan Fraser and Zachary Levi were probably the longest two for autographs. And they were behind another wall that you couldn't even see them if you're just walking around.
Sure.
Everyone else you could see if you just walked around. There's a couple pictures on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram that you can go see of those. I guess, let me start with you. What was your first thoughts, though? I mean, yes, it's a preview con.
Yeah.
But what did you think?
I mean, so I went Sunday, and I was actually, we weren't there for very long. We only went for a little over an hour. And it struck me just like it was incredibly small. and I don't know, it didn't seem very well laid out.
Yeah.
It seemed like, there was, it almost seemed like the artists were an afterthought, and really, to me, that's why I want to go to the con anyways, is because I want to see artwork and cool stuff like that. Like, the celebrities and stuff, I guess that's okay, but that's not why I go to a con, because I want to, check and see if there's any cool artwork or anything like that. And so it seemed like they were kind of shuffled off to the side. We spent a little time talking with, one particular artist there.
He is on our Facebook page too.
Yeah, Sketchin'
Time or Sketchin', yeah.
Sketchin' Time.
Something. Right. Yeah, he seemed really nice. Somebody tagged him, and thank you again for tagging him. I didn't have his business card when we uploaded that picture, so couldn't see that.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it here in just a minute. So
while he's doing that, so I was there Saturday, and we saw was it Sketchin' Time or
hold on.
I was confused.
I was responding to you.
I kind of felt the same thing. Like it wasn't laid out very well. If you walked in through the main entrance, you skipped literally all the artists. So I felt bad for the artists in the artist alley area, because you could literally bypass all of them. When I first walked the hall, I couldn't even find them, because I was like, where are they? Until I went to go let the other Robert in. I went to one of the exit doors and pushed it open. I'm like, oh, they're right here.
Yeah.
So it did feel like an afterthought for them. So I hope they did well, because I know you guys spend money to go there. That kind of did upset me, because again, we're here for artwork too, and if you didn't kind of double back to the exit, you wouldn't have seen them. The panels there was a big area set up for them, and they maybe even with Zachary Levi,
there was nobody there.
No, they filled maybe half, if that even. I would say more like a third was filled. It felt very empty even when Zachary Levi went up there, Brendan Roth and Helen Slater. When Eva, I forgot her last name, the wrestler, was up there, we couldn't even see much. Like, we walked over there and it was still pretty empty. We walked by once, and it's like, well, it's the preview cons, maybe just not a lot of people showed up. So.
Yeah, it definitely, there were very few people there. It is Sketchin' Time. Tracy Watkins is the name of the artist. So, he was a super cool dude. We had a quick conversation with him, and he showed off some of his artwork. Actually, Kristen got a piece, a Wonder Woman piece, which is pretty sweet. So, it was very small. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
But overall, I like seeing, like I said, some of the artwork. We didn't spend a lot of time there. We were there for Brendan Fraser's panel, and he took a few questions from the crowd. I know he had done a panel on Saturday as well, and they kind of talked about like. They had obviously talked about a few things on Saturday, because like they just basically made the whole Sunday one. It was just basically all Q&A, so it was mostly from fans and stuff. So that was cool. Like, if you were there to see Brendan Fraser, you got a chance to ask him a question. And there wasn't no groundbreaking questions. Nobody asked him about Blast from the Past, and I was like, come on, this movie's great.
No one cares about it.
Hey, that movie's great. It was cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
So on that note, guys, we'll go ahead and end it here. And of course, let us know what you think in the comments. Again, for anyone who watched us live, sorry again. But, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a question. If there was something you liked about the Celebrity Fan Fest, let us know. Or if there was any more Game of Thrones news we missed in the last 30 minutes, let us know too, because apparently it's happening right now.
Well, and thanks again to the Lizard Queen for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I'm glad we didn't have any internet issues.
Nope, hers was just fine. So we'll take care of our celebrities, at least, that come on here.
Yeah, maybe she infected our internet stream.
Knew it.
Nah, she's cool.
We love you. But again, guys, keep watching, keep liking our videos, subscribe so we know you're still watching us. And, what keeps you geeky, guys, and let us know.